You've been told that a good man marries a woman for her piety alone, her righteousness. That a desire for beauty is shallow, lustful, and somehow immoral. They tell you to suppress that feeling, to feel guilty, to feel ashamed, to get control of yourself. Here's the facts. They lied to you. And that lie is keeping you caged in a life not allowing you to really expand and build the legacy that you desire. Today, we're going to deal with that directly in Beyond Monogamy.
Warning, viewer discretion is advised. The content, views, and educational material you are about to experience could challenge your belief, trigger strong emotions, and frankly, piss you off. This isn't for everyone. If you're not ready to confront new ideas, or if your feelings bruise easily, this might be the time to click away. Expect to be challenged, to think, and you might even want to scream at the screen. Proceed with caution, and remember, you chose to be here. Let's get it.
Assalamu alaikum, peace. I am Coach Nazir, one of the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships and one of the authors of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored, with both of my wives, Coach Fatimah and Coach Nyla. I'm also the author of the book, The Frame Playbook, How Polygamous Men Build Respect, Desire, and Leadership at Home. With that being said, today we're going to dive into a very destructive myth that keeps men from really building the way that they should. And when I say men from doing it, I mean exceptional men, those who have the means and the desire, but for some reason, they're allowing this very effective manipulation tactic to get the best of them. This is what I mean. Here's a scenario. A man considers marrying an additional wife. That's a second wife. He's in monogamy. He's attracted to her. She's beautiful, elegant, possesses qualities that are attractive to him. But when he mentions this, the whispers start. Perhaps it's from his wife. Maybe it's from the community. You should be thinking with your other head. Why are you so lustful? Or you should only be looking at her deen and her characteristics. Or that's so shallow. A man of God wouldn't do such a thing. For those of you who understand what a man of God would do. Oh man, this is basically classic guilt tripping and shaming. Two very effective manipulation tactics. They are designed to make you feel small, sinful, like there's something wrong with you. Now, mind you, you likely found some type of attraction to your initial wife that was not a problem, that was not shamed, not guilted, and you went through the proper procedures to go ahead and ask for her hand in marriage and so on and so forth. But somehow that desire is supposed to just be taken out of you and forsaken all others, if you will, just naturally upon marriage. Well, again, this is about getting beyond monogamy and being real for exceptional men. So let's get to it. One of the first things I see men doing wrong is they respond to emotionally charged manipulation by being emotional. That's not right. You want to make sure you are focused and stoic where you are. You can respond to emotion with facts and logic and whatnot if you want to, but knowing when and why actually matters. Here are three examples from the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And as a Muslim, that's where I'm going to pull from, these authentic sources. Now again, Islam did not allow polygyny. Polygyny had already existed. Islam restricted it to 4 wives simultaneously and also regulated it when it came to being fair and just among them. But let me let you know something, because some people have this idea that the Prophet ﷺ simply just married altruistically. You know, that there was no desire in any of his marriages for whatever reason. Well, the reason is kind of to satisfy their own manipulation, but let's get right to it. 3 things I'm going to talk about. The very first one is Juwariya, radiallahu anha, our mother, one of the Ummahatul Mu'mineen, the mothers of the believers. When the Prophet ﷺ married Juwariya bint Harith, radiallahu anha, Aisha, radiallahu anha, described her as sweet and beautiful, and that no one who saw her was but captivated by her. She said, by Allah, no sooner had I seen her at my door that I disliked her, for I knew that he, the Prophet ﷺ, would see in her what I saw. She saw that she was beautiful. She was gorgeous. And if you know the story of her, basically her tribe, it got Bani Muqalib, I believe, something like that. It's in the hadith. But her tribe fought against the Muslims. They got caught. They became prisoners of war. This is along the lines of what was going on at that time. So she offered herself as a ransom, and she was going to the Prophet ﷺ to make a deal that he pay her ransom and free her. So she presented that opportunity directly to the Prophet ﷺ at the house of Aisha, radiallahu anha. And the Prophet ﷺ said, I can do that if you want that, or I can offer you something better. You choose. He said, or I can marry you. So the Prophet ﷺ offered either marriage or he would pay the ransom, and it's her choice. Of course, she made the best choice in marrying the Prophet ﷺ. And of course, Aisha later had mentioned that there was no marriage better than her marriage to him because it freed all of her people. Because who would want to have as prisoners of war the in-laws now of the Prophet ﷺ? So yes, there was a lot of wisdom in it. But let's talk about Juwairiya, radiallahu anha. She is someone who was raised as a princess. She came from luxury. She was in her early 20s and only been married 3 months to a soldier who got killed. So yes, she was a widow. She was not some old downtrodden widow. No, she was young. She was gorgeous. As Aisha radiallahu anha stated that she was the Prophet ﷺ's type. He said he was seeing her the same thing I see in her. She's beautiful. So that's the first point. You might be thinking, well, what does that mean? That means that the Prophet ﷺ had eyes. He was also human. And yes, everything he did was from wahi. It was revelation. So that brings me to the second point. The second point is, there's a famous hadith in Sahih Bukhari where a woman came to the Prophet ﷺ and she offered herself to him in marriage, asking him, would you like to marry me? As she was standing up, the Prophet ﷺ paused, looked at her carefully, fixed his glance at her, looked her up and down, and then he put his head down. And just like that pause I did, I got a little uncomfortable. She ended up sitting down, maybe out of embarrassment. The hadith doesn't get into that. But then another companion and other people saw the interaction. He was like, Ya Rasulullah, can I marry her? She opened for marriage like that. And the hadith is a little bit longer and it goes into that. And he was broke, broke, and didn't really have anything. And the hadith ends up with, asking, did he have even an iron ring for her and stuff like that? But without going into that part, the part I want you to focus on is when she asked him that, what did the Prophet ﷺ do? He utilized his eyes. He looked directly at her. Okay? He looked her up and down. He fixed his glance on her, is what the translation would say from the original hadith. That's very important. That's real life. She offered herself. He looked. He put his head down, so he declined. But he looked. And we know what he does, what he says, or what he approves of is part of the Sunnah. Now, let's get to number 3. I'm Coach Nazir. So if you like what you see and how I've been able to help people, especially in the knowledge commerce industry, and you want to work with me directly, well, look, go to workwithcoachnazir.com. We'll really see if we're a fit, and I can probably help you take it to the next level as long as you are teachable and coachable, willing to work, and you have that burning desire. Workwithcoachnazir.com. I look forward to hearing from you and taking things to the next level. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. The Prophet ﷺ says, when one of you asks a woman in marriage or proposes to a woman in marriage, if he is able to look at what will induce him to marry her, he should do so. Think about that. Read that again. What will induce him to marry her? That is the spark, the desire, the attraction. Note in the previous example, when she offered herself to him, the Prophet ﷺ didn't say, where's your wakil? Where's your wali? How much Quran do you know? How do you do this? How do you do it? He didn't get all up into her deen. He started at the basics, looking at her, and then he declined. And then he's also giving us advice, this ummah advice, to look at that which will induce you to marry her. So miss me with all of the Prophet ﷺ didn't have desires, or, we shouldn't be thinking about desire. That's how we create it. We have desire. And to fulfill it in a lawful way, that is commendable. That's building a natural nuclear family. The Prophet ﷺ also said, marry the loving and fertile. See, some people had a problem with a video I did just letting you know about the sexual marketplace when it deals with women already starting at the top and men starting at the bottom. And as time goes on, women's value in the sexual marketplace generally just comes down. Now, that doesn't mean that's it. No, they should focus on frame and building themselves up and making themselves more valuable as they age. But unfortunately, people like to just go ahead and be polite and not say the truth. That's not what you came to this channel for. So I want you to think on those things, specifically from the Sunnah of the Prophet. So looking at his, first of all, I didn't get into the part where the Prophet had meant, I said he was in the house of Aisha. He was there. She was there. She was a witness of the whole thing. She's the one that relayed the hadith, radiallahu anha. And he proposed marriage in that house in front of his other wife. Think about that. See, sometimes we hold ourselves to something the Prophet and the companions did not hold themselves to. So if you say desire or you're thinking with lust and all this time, stop trying to shame and guilt us for something that's natural. You should absolutely desire and lust after your wives. That's part of protecting yourselves. Like, duh. But now you figure that, oh, since I'm in monogamy, then this lust and this desire and all this kind of, that just goes away. Oh, there's legal and lawful ways to handle it according to a moral standard. And for me, that's Islam. So the question becomes, all right, how do I do this? But when you're being shamed and being guilted and worse, being led by that, by allowing the seed of resentment to be planted and cultivated by you not knowing how to properly respond. Look, you're a man. It is what it is. You have 10 times the normal testosterone that a woman will have. It's expected. It's expected. They don't understand. It is what it is. Men want women. Women want everything that men can provide. It's the way of the world. Now, until you create and design your own world, those are basically the rules and how it is. We must operate within them. Now, a direct word to the ladies who utilize this form of emotional manipulation. I've said it before, and I'll continue saying it, and you'll hear it all throughout the world, in person and online, that men spell love R-E-S-P-E-C-T. So simply trying to diminish your husband for having a natural desire, for speaking to you about polygyny as though that means, oh, something's just wrong with you. Look, none of us are perfect to begin. We're all flawed. It is what it is. But there's nothing wrong with him for having a desire. What's wrong is how he would act, how he would behave. All right. Because lowering your gaze, that's the general stance. And that doesn't mean you don't see beauty. That first glance is loud, but it's a glance. It's not something you're out there being a pervert at. We're already living in a world where sex trafficking is estimated to bring in, what, $250 billion. $250 billion in sex trafficking, where 61% are women and girls, and many of them are underage. Look at the Epstein files and case and those and the reasons we don't have or know who's on the official list, besides, of course, the current felon acting as the president of the United States. Okay, this is the world we're living in, where escorts, women exploiting themselves, whether that's OnlyFans or doing things for money that they would prefer not to do, or that that millions of people, I think 1.4, 1.6 million people, I'll find the correct data for the video and we'll put it up here somewhere, every single year in the US diagnosed with preventable or curable sexually transmitted infections or diseases. And you're worried about polygyny, a form of marriage, something that's honorable, goes to build a family and a legacy, and you're talking crazy about that instead of what's actually going on in the world? Stop it. I understand you're possessive. I get that. However, men who are exceptional should be applauded for wanting to do the right thing. And if you are that woman that will prefer that their husband just cheat every day of the week than having another wife that he's responsible for. Fellas, you need to get rid of her. You need to change your threshold. You need to change your doorstep. You got to go. See, I'm going to do a video shortly about when it's time to go. Many of you are sleeping with the enemy and have no idea. Until you have this polygyny discussion, you won't recognize that some of your women, and maybe they've even told you, some of your wives will rather you just go ahead and cheat, have an affair, give you a hall pass, something like that. They don't care about your soul. They don't really want a husband. They don't want to operate within the feminine frame. They want a sponsor for their lifestyle. And until you have this discussion, many will never know. With that being said, your desire is not the problem. The real test is if you could handle it in a just and fair way and being equitable when it comes to practicing polygyny. If you can stand up against the guilting, the shaming, the emotional manipulation, stand in your masculine and do what's right when it comes to building a family. That's what matters. So if you made it this far in the video, I want to know that you rock with me and what we're doing at Outstanding Personal Relationships. So put stop man shaming in the comments. Yeah, I like to see that. Stop man shaming. Let's use some of their language at this time. Stop man shaming in the comments. And if you haven't already gotten the Frame Playbook, how polygamous men build respect, desire, and leadership at home, check out our books and educational materials at polygamyBooks.com. If you are of the upper echelon, those who are high performers, and you really want to get beyond monogamy and practice polygyny in a healthy way without feeling dismissed, defeated, and disrespected, go to CoachNazir.com, book a call. I look forward to speaking with you. And if you haven't already, we noticed that just under half of the people that watch our videos aren't subscribed. Why? I don't know. Press the button and press the bell to get notified. With that being said, remember to be outstanding and take care and take charge. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.